Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Invasive species are one of the biggest issues facing our natural resources and the environment today. Think of things like Dutch elm disease, the spotted lanternfly, and cats. Perhaps the most dangerous of these is the Homo caput stercoris, commonly referred to as the front plater. An invasive species coming from New York, New Jersey, and anywhere else that has a license plate on the front of their car. The biggest threat from this pest is the spread of excrement. These savages cause harm to many native species and have even spawned an entirely new one, the Beltsville Lake Monster. Here at the DeWeather Institute for Climate Knowledge, we have a dedicated group of volunteers working tirelessly to clean up the mess. The team of emergency responders for dispersion and skimming, or the turds. But the job is just too big, and we can't do it without your help. So be a hero, be a turd. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here on the National Racing Network, where tonight we are proud to be bringing you live coverage once again of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. James Watson. And I tell you what here, James, well, looks like he, there we go, now we got James. I tell you what here, buddy, we're in for a pretty good show here because this place is not easy to get around. Well, I thought we had James Watson anyway. We'll see if he jumps. Oh, there we go. Now we got him. We were commenting here that this place is not real easy to get around no matter what your experience level is.
No, this track is absolute chaos, which is ironic because it's one of the rookie tracks. So you should have a lot of experience here. That doesn't always seem to help, especially since this is the 2018 version with the quote-unquote chicane of death. And it's called that because it's so much more narrow, and all you have is those little tiny little turtle curves. Look at that, you can take that pretty much full speed. But if you're just a little bit off on your car placement in the second half of it, you can turn your wing into pieces. So yeah. And given the high rate of speed, I don't think I need to tell the folks at home to figure out why it's called the chicane death.
Yeah, it is definitely going to pose a challenge to these drivers here tonight. The walls are very close, and you have to use every inch of this racetrack. And that's something that over the course of this race, the tiniest little mistake it's more than likely going to put you out. Even that little bit of a bobble there out of Graham Sanders, that can invalidate a lap in qualifying, and it can be just enough to let someone get around during the race.
Yeah, and of course, having all that draft on NASCAR Oval 1-2 all the way into the dish, you really got to be perfect. Which I was when I won here 2 days ago for my first ever win in the series. Hooray me!
Well, congratulations on getting an official win here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. And oh man, there you go. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about there, huh?
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. Let's talk points a little bit here. Things are tightening up at the front of the field. Everett Paddock, currently your points leader, sitting on 808 points. In 5 weeks, 13 starts, 6 wins, 10 top fives, leading 119 of a possible 342 laps. That's impressive, but Chris Preston and Medema, John Boesfuer, Frank Wynn, everybody starting to close up on that number that Everett stretched out to early on.
Yeah, Everett's had a great season up to this point, but we're just now at the halfway point. He's still got to put together a lot more good races. He wants to hold all of them off.
John Boatfewer going to be your quick timer, and he's going quicker here on lap number 2, 108.667. Oh, buddy, hold on to it. If he didn't get the outside wall on corner exit, this is going to be another screamer of a qualifying lap. Oh, man, they are beating up these curbs. Lost a little bit of time through that final sector. His lap time of 108.667 will have to hold. Graham Sanders is going to be your second quick driver in qualifying. How about Nagisa Yoshikawa jumping up to third quick? Lap time 1 minute 9.568. Brandon Powell, Ted Burns currently occupy the 4th and 5th positions. Tom Whitmer, Nicholas Daly, Frank Wynn, Frankie D, Jason Owens, your top 10. Everett Paddock just getting out onto the racetrack right now. Oh, big jump there for Carlos Villa. He's going to move up to third. Lap time of 109.399. Boatfewer and Sanders are the class of the field, though. It's about 3/4 of a second back to Carlos Villa in third. This is going to be abject insanity if these guys are going to keep doing this to the chicanes. Something tells me the crank cameras on lap 1 are going to look pretty unreal. Nagisa Yoshikawa improves to third quick. Let's pick up Everett Paddock as he makes his way around through turns 1 and 2 of the oval. Now, James, seeing how Everett took that backstretch chicane, is that the fast way to get through there, or do you have to use a little bit of curb to be quick?
You're going to have to use a little bit of curb. What I did was I kind of took a wide entry on the first curb. I hit that and then stayed to the left and then took a straight shot. And then you just took a little bit of the third and fourth parts of the curbing, and it was the fastest way, completely bypassing the second. So hit the first.
Oh, Paddock makes contact with the wall.
You don't want to hit that curb.
No, Everett Paddock going to be 8th quick after qualifications here. Simon Fell, the only driver that has not taken a lap yet, will pick up here with David Porcelli, who's currently 9th quick, making his way onto the back straightaway. This place almost feels like it's going to drive a lot like a street course, in that with the exception of NASCAR banked corners, this is very, very tight.
Which is weird that I did as well as I did, because usually I'm way too skittish to really be a factor on street courses, but there's just something different about this place that you need a different type of driving to get through it fast. If that even makes sense.
Well, yeah, Porcelli jumping up there to 5th quick, by the way, as we follow his lap around. Nicholas Daly coming around to finish his 2nd qualification lap. He will hold in the 11th position, almost identical lap times. It's interesting that you talk about how you kind of have to drive this car skitterish. We see it tail happy a little bit anyway at times, especially late in the run. Is that going to be an issue for these drivers as we get deeper into the race?
It didn't really get much worse as it went on. It just kind of stayed the same. You just gotta manage it as best as you can. It seems to be a little tail happy in some places, but it kind of understeers through most of the infield section. It's just coming out of turn 1, and the chicane is when it gets loose, but otherwise you're battling under.
Well, we'll get ready for the field to start taking to the grid here. We'll pick up Everett Paddock here as we wait for everybody else to get on to the grid. And it looks like this is going to be the full pace lap as well. So almost a good thing that we got a split out of this one, because I could easily see carnage happening towards the back of a big grid around this place. John Boatfewer and Graham Sanders will occupy the front row, separated by a little bit over 1/10 of a second. Row number 2 is going to have Carlos Villa and Nagisa Yashikawa. David Porcelli and Brandon Powell on row number 3. Tom Whitmer and Ted Burns on row number 4. Little bit surprising, Everett Paddock qualifying in 9th, and he'll be joined on row number 5 by Kyle Ciacelli. Nicholas Daly and Frank Wynn on row number 6. Row 7, Frankie D and Jason Owens. Simon Fell electing to start this race without qualifying. He will be at the back of the field for the green flag. And let's see if we can't sneak a word in here with Jason Owens real quick. And Jason, you're qualifying towards the back in this one, but something almost tells me that might not be the worst place to be if any of the carnage is going to happen in front of you.
Well, Chris, I was on like a 10-2 or 10-3 lap and then bended at the last chicane pushing too hard. I'm a low car here tonight. My goal is keep this thing clean and let everybody else die in the death chicane.
Yeah, that's what James was just calling it on the air here. How exciting is that going to be, your first trip through it?
Well, if I ever get my car started, it'll be real exciting, but there we go. Momentary switches can catch you out if you forget to turn them back on to start the car. I think it's going to be... I'm not so worried about death chicane on the first lap. I'm worried about guys trying to jump the start, going through the start-finish chicane as the green flag comes out, and then everybody piling into turn 1, more so than the death chicane.
So normal turn 1 shenanigans is what you're telling us here. All right, brother, good luck tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you a bit later.
Peace.
All right, I am doing an update here on Trading Paints, because it appears as though we do have 3 identically painted race cars at the front of the field. Good luck figuring out who will be who in this one. John Boatfewer, Graham Sanders, Carlos Villa. Top 3 all running identical paint schemes. That'll be fantastic tonight. Good luck, James. You're going to call the start of this one.
Oh, hell. It's a good thing we have Crank It Up for the first lap.
Yes, and timing and scoring as well, for that matter. This is going to be, well, quite frankly, interesting to see who gets through this. And, yeah, we'll see. Seeing Preston checking in the comments here. Go 13. Giving a little bit of love here to Kylo Ciacelli. Look for him to gain some places. He's quick. Well, everybody in this field is quick. That's one of the interesting things about this PM18 field. James, ordinarily you might expect some turn one carnage. Everybody in this race is good, though.
Yeah, so if there's a lot of death, a lot of fast is going to be dying in that death.
Seeing the field getting formed to back up out of that final chicane. Well, next to last chicane, because there is one more before the start-finish line here. And we are looking forward to an absolutely fantastic race here at Charlotte. As always, race fans, the start of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship is going to be all yours. Oh my goodness, the shot out of the chicane on the backstretch. Good Lord. Lap number 1 of 24 is in the books, and, well, quite frankly, everybody behaved themselves on this one. John Boatfewer, Graham Sanders, Carlos Villa, Nagisa Yashikawa, David Porcelli all holding on to the top 5 spots, but the top 3 are not letting each other get away by any stretch.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna be like how it was a couple of seasons ago, watching the rest guys go mano a mano for the win, because these guys seem to be in a class of their own right now.
Yeah, they are absolutely long gone, and this almost sort of feels like that kind of Nürburgring or Hungaroring style venue. It was a lot of fun to watch, and we're going to be heading back there in just a couple of weeks as well. Or no, not the Hungaroring. What am I thinking of here?
Hockenheim?
Hockenheim, thank you. Not on the schedule this season. Next week we head off to Gateway for 50 laps around the oval, followed by Mount Panorama, Suzuka, Montreal, Milwaukee, and Road America. This is a fun schedule coming up here to end the season, but we got a lot of racing to discuss here before we get down there. John Boatfewer just set the fastest lap of the race at a 109.52. Top 2 distancing themselves out a little bit here from Carlos Villa, who runs in the 3rd position. Slide back in the pack here. We've got a very nice battle shaping up. Kylo Ciacelli, Frank Wynn, Frankie D, and Tom Whitmer all going to be kind of in line together. A little bit of a surprise to see Wynn pull out this early down the back straightaway. Oh, what a pass into the chicane.
Is it me or... Yeah, he's missing a wing.
Yeah, Tom Whitmer making his way. Let's take a look here. Get you the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Well, okay, it wasn't Tom Whitmer. No, it was Kylo Ciacelli that had the issue. He's missing a front wing headed down the pit road. Tom Whitmer had the issue. We'll see what we can find on that incident. Nicholas Daly also going to be in the pits. This is down into the chicane. Oh, well, there's Whitmer where he lost the wing. Man, that made things a little bit interesting.
Yeah. First bit of contact all race.
Ciacelli makes his way out of the pits. Daly still going to be pit side. Jason Owens coming around Frank Wynn now. That's going to move Owens up into the 10th position. Boatfielder again goes fastest lap, 109.01. Whitmer going to have to pit this time. So that'll move Owens up to the 9th position. That strategy of survive to the end looking to be playing out so far. Keeping our eye here at the front of the field. John Boatfielder cranking out quick laps. Graham Sanders holding on to the 2nd position. Those cars now separated by 1.6 seconds. Slide back here. David Porcelli rapidly catching in on Carlos Villa. This is the battle for 3rd. Final step on the podium's at stake. Tell you what, James, this race almost runs a lot like a sprint in that it's only 24 laps long. Oh, Porcelli gets up into the outside wall. This race, though, it does really run like a sprint. We're talking 1 minute, 10-second lap times. This race, I mean, this could be over in the next, 15 minutes? This race could be less than a half hour long.
Pretty on par with the other race lengths we usually deal with. It's usually about 45 minutes in total. A little slower than most tracks, or a little quicker than most tracks, but it's still a decent length. Certainly doesn't feel like it's going by quickly, that's for sure.
Let's go on board here with David Porcelli. Follow along. Give you an idea of the elevation changes here at the Roval. That's one of the big things. You would think it's the inside of an oval, there's no elevation changes, but you really do a lot of up and down here.
Especially here, this is fairly significant for what we deal with. Like, this right here feels like a roller coaster with how much dip, and then go back over. You really have to be careful on your throttle application, otherwise, yeah, you're going to get pretty close to that wall, closer than we saw David.
And the draft obviously playing such a huge effect in these cars. Porcelli easily able to clear Villa. He's going to come right back to the inside through NASCAR 3 and 4. Oh, that's tight on exit.
I thought David was going to go for the crossover there.
These guys better not get too racy here because Ted Burns is currently in the 5th position, and he's closing in pretty quickly as well here.
Yeah, old Teddy B's got something to say.
I would imagine this section that how you're talking about the car kind of up and down through the dips, that's got to be very unsettling to just the chassis handling of the race car, to the point that it's, I would imagine, really easy to get the car to loop around on you.
Yeah, definitely. The car has no idea what to do with it. It's pretty easy in this car, and it is pretty much a death sentence in a stock car.
A little bit of a tank slapper there out of Porcelli. Burns is going to be right there on Villa now. 3, 4, and 5 going about. Oh, trouble for Graham Sanders.
Graham!
Trouble for Graham Sanders. See what happened here. Out of turn 2. Oh, huge hit. That will be the end of the race for Graham Sanders.
Yeah, when he came out of turn 1, he just clipped the wall just a little bit, and it was enough to break a toe link, and that's why he did that gnarly slide in the wall to completely kill the car.
That's now made this a battle for 2nd and 3rd. Burns having to look on Villa. John Boatfewer still holding on to a 9.5-second lead over Porcelli. So the race is his to lose, but as we've seen, just the slightest bit of contact, that's enough to break the front suspensions on these cars.
Yeah, man, if you ask me who was I thought was the most likely to stuff it into a barrier, I wouldn't have said Graham, that's for sure.
Yeah, Graham carried the number 1 plate here into the race this evening. We'll show you the license details on these drivers. Mostly A licenses. Sanders, 7,300 iRating. John Boatfewer, 6,200. This field is absolutely ridiculous here tonight. 36.53 the strength of field on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big chunk off of Graham. 7.3 at the end of this race. That's probably looking like about 130 loss.
Continuing to follow this battle between Carlos Villa and Ted Burns. Porcelli able to use this fight to his advantage. He's out to a 1.6-second gap over this battle. Already approaching the halfway point. By far the tightest battle on the racetrack. There you can see the draft lock that comes into play here. Burns going to have a big look up the inside. Oh, they almost make contact into the chicane. Both are airborne. Both are making contact. Burns goes around. Not sure if there's damage on that car, but it's going to put Carlos Villa up to third.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah, let's show you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay on this one. You basically can't send it into the chicane like that. Both cars getting big time airborne.
Head was like 3 feet in the air. Like, oh my goodness. Just because these cars have wings doesn't mean they're supposed to fly, people.
Yeah, they're supposed to go the other way and anchor the thing down into the racetrack. You wonder if there's not any damage from the contacts here. Carlos Villa staying on the racetrack. We'll see if Nagisa Yoshikawa is going to gain a bunch of time here. Still about 4 seconds back, but he is closing pretty quickly. And again, Luce getting airborne all over those curbs. Slide back here. Pick up Jason Owens. Battling with Brandon Powell. Owens was within about 2/10. Oh, Carlos Villa coming into the pits. He's going to have damage to be repaired after that contact with Ted Burns. So that's going to put Nagisa Yoshikawa up to position number 3. We've just gotten the cross flags here halfway down.
And Nagisa said his race pace is slow.
Kyle Mast just licked the stamp and sent it. Yes. Fantastic merch out of Danny Ricciardo, by the way. Love the hat with that on it. So Jason Owens getting around Brandon Powell. Oh, man, Powell going to stuff it right back up the inside. Owens going to have to fall back in line. We'll see if he attempts to pass into the chicane.
Battle for third is also heating up again.
Owens full send. Oh, buddy, nice pass there, Jason Owens. Slide up a little further forward, pick up Nagisa Yoshikawa and Ted Burns. This one's starting to get tight. How about Everett Paddock is running in 8th behind Owens and Powell. We'll keep our eye on both of those battles.
Yeah, I don't know if he started from the pits, but he was a long ways back from the very get-go.
Ted Burns wants that podium spot back. Yoshikawa, maybe a little bit of discretion, the better part of valor. Let's Burns clear easily off of NASCAR 2. They slot back in line. Everett Paddock now battling with Powell. He clears them into the chicane. Jason Owens holding on to 6th. That battle has settled down. The one for 3rd has not. Down to 8 laps to go here. 2/3 distance will be complete next time around for race leader John Boatfewer. Let's get you at least most of the field rundown here. John Boatfewer started on the pole and is your race leader. Never really had any battling with Graham Sanders. Sanders was able to stay close, but ultimately Sanders having an issue putting him out of the race. 2nd belongs to David Porcelli. Fantastic run here. He's up 3 spots from where he started. Seeing Everett Paddock coming around Jason Owens. Let's get you this one on the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Not much of a fight there from Owens as Paddock clears easily onto that front stretch chicane. Going back to the live look here, 3rd place belongs to Ted Burns. with now a 1.6 second gap over Nagisa Yashikawa, who runs in the 4th position. Hard charger of the race thus far. How about Frankie D in the footwork colors? Running in the 5th position. He's up 8 from where he started this race 16 and change laps ago. Everett Paddock now runs in the 6th position, having coming around Jason Owens and Brandon Powell in the last couple of laps. Owens also putting up a pretty good fight here. He's up 7 from where he started the race. First driver we see that's lost positions is Brandon Powell. He runs in the 8th position, down 2 from the drop of the green flag. Carlos Villa, he's really the guy that's lost the most here as he battles with Frank Wynn, and we'll hold on to this battle as this is the fight for the 9th position. Oh, trouble on the racetrack for Simon Fell. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. He was battling with Tom Whitmer. Simon just overshooting the corner. Slides to a stop, gets himself fired back up, and away he goes. That's going to put Simon back to the 13th position. Tightest fight going to be between Kylo Ciacelli and Tom Whitmer. This is the fight for the 11th position. We'll say a Scuderia-esque colors on Ciacelli's number 13. Arrow McLaren colors on Whitmer's number 11. Two cars so far out of the race. Graham Sanders going out on lap number 9 after huge contact in turn number 2. Nicholas Daly will finish this race in the 15th position, going out on lap number 6. Oh, look, getting the comments here coming in. Preston saying it's a custom livery for the Limo Boys racing team. Limo Boys? I don't know how you say that. On the 13 car, by the way.
That's a nice paint.
A good looking race car right there. So what do we think here, James? We're down to a handful of laps to go. There's no real battling going on anywhere. Does it get difficult to keep your concentration, or are you constantly moving at this racetrack and it's kind of hard to lose it?
Yeah, that's how it's similar to a street course is. Any mistake and you're gonna die. So if you want to keep the car in one piece, you have to keep focused. You can't take a break for even on the oval track. You still, because it's apron bad.
Yes. To put it mildly, apron bad, yeah. Seeing Everett Paddock coming around Frankie D. D up along the safer barrier in turns 3 and 4. No real challenge to Everett Paddock. That's going to move Everett up to position number 5. D doing a nice job of holding on here, though, staying within about 4/10.
You wonder if Everett can catch up to Nagisa?
Man, I don't know. 4 seconds in 4 laps may be a bit of a tall order. I would imagine a pretty frustrating night if you're Everett Paddock, especially when, I mean, we've talked about this before, but your drop weeks have to be good drop weeks. if you have 3 or 4 races that are not very good, all of a sudden that 5th place score in a big strength of field race tonight really comes into play.
I don't know. Everett has just taken out like a second and a half this lap alone.
Yeah, the gap's down to 3 and change as they come to the start-finish line. We'll put the intervals back up here. Anybody in orange is very tight. Anybody in yellow is close-ish. Anybody in white is not anywhere close, but Everett Paddock's down to 2.6 seconds and rapidly closing on Nagisa Yoshikawa. Tom Whitmer, Kylo Ciacelli still battling back here and very tight. This is the battle for 11th. Everett Paddock down to 1.9, 1.8, 1.9 right now. Brandon Powell and Carlos Villa battling for the 8th position. Oh, man, Villa's all over the rear wing. Hunting. Oh, they almost make contact.
Wow.
Man, is that a ballsy place to brake check someone? If that's what you were doing. Good Lord.
I think there's front wing damage on Carlos if my eyes aren't being stupid.
Oh, well, we could take a look here as we're down to a couple of laps to go.
Nothing noticeable, but oh, yep, you can see.
Yeah, you can see it. Yep.
Yep, that's gonna do it. He can finish, but he's not catching Powell with that.
How about Everett Paddock, though? He's caught Nagisa Yoshikawa. Big dive into the final chicane. Move Everett Paddock up to 4th with 2 to go. Yoshikawa going to fight back inside into 1.
And you thought Everett wasn't.
I figured 4 seconds with 4 laps to go was going to be a little much. How about 4 seconds in 2 laps? Now at this point, Nagisa is going to be fighting back as we are down to 1 lap to go for John Boatfewer. Here's Paddock having to look to the outside. This is going to be a gutsy move into the chicane. He'll get the pass completed. And that may be all she wrote on that battle. As your race leaders heading out onto the banking for the final time. John Boatfewer doing everything he needed to and more. Needs to not see the lap cars wadded up in front of him. You almost wonder if you back off a little bit and let those guys get across the line.
Yeah.
Through the final chicane, checkered flag is in the air. John Boatfewer gets the win. Second place going to belong to David Porcelli as he makes his way down through that final chicane. Good run for Porcelli, and we'll pick up 3rd place, Ted Burns. This is one that Everett Paddock will not close in on. 9 3/4 seconds the gap right now. Through that final chicane, checkered flag in the air, and Theodore Burns going to come home with a third-place finish here this evening. Everett Paddock making his way down across the line. He will come home in fourth. There's Nagisa Yoshikawa to finish fifth. Frankie D, sixth. Jason Owens, seventh. Brandon Powell will come home in the eighth position, followed by Frank Wynn. Carlos Villa going to hold on for a 10th place finish here this evening. Tell you what, James, I am pretty impressed here. A lot of action in that race here this evening.
Yeah, we had some crazy mistakes, crazy crashes. That Teddy B flying through the air.
Yeah, and coming home with a podium, no less. Let's get you the race results here as your winner going to do some burnouts here on the front straightaway. John Boatfewer over David Porcelli and Ted Burns on the podium. Everett Paddock, Nagisa Yoshikawa, the top five. Frankie D, Jason Owens, Brandon Powell, Frank Wynn, and Carlos Villa, the top 10. 11th to 15th will be Kylo Ciacelli, Tom Whitmer, Simon Fell, Graham Sanders, and Nicholas Daly. That one was a ton of fun to watch here this evening. We'll see who we can get to talk to here. We'll kick off our Victory Lane interviews with our runner-up in tonight's race, David Porcelli. And I'll tell you what here, man, it was a very good run. You got a little bit of help from Graham going out ahead of you. But all in all, not a bad way to come home with a second-place finish.
Yeah, I mean, the field got really spaced out really quickly. I was happy to finish second. I was sort of bummed out. I was looking forward to the challenge, to having the opportunity to maybe run Graham down. So the fact that he crashed out is a shame. My heart goes out to him. But yeah, happy to take home second in the broadcast. That's always good. John had some crazy pace today. I was trying to match his better lap times, but his consistency is just really on point.
Yeah, it was almost like you were going to be battling for best in class there with Graham before he had his incident. How difficult is it as a driver when the course is difficult, you've seen somebody go out ahead of you, to keep that concentration up and just not make the mistake at any point in that race?
Yeah, well, I got lucky today because I had all that extra space. So if there were any times where I felt like I was a little offline or my approach wasn't like fully optimized, then I could just compromise my pace a little bit in the name of safety, which you have to do at a track like the Roval, with the walls so close. So you're right, it would be a significant challenge, but by the time everything shook out by like lap 5 or 6, I was pretty much on my own there.
Well, it was a fantastic run to come home in the second position here this evening, and let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of here before we let you go.
Well, no sponsor plugs, just hi to my family, and thanks so much for the broadcast, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate the kind words, and let's bring in our third place finisher, Teddy B, Ted Burns. You were airborne into turn 3, NASCAR turn 3, several times this race. How in the world did you bring that car home in third?
I don't know. I definitely think the attrition rate of everyone else certainly helped. I don't know how I managed to get it on the podium, but up until that point, I was hoping I could drive up onto the podium. But after that incident, I was just amazed the car was still drivable because that was quite a flight.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't try to airmail yourself onto the podium here. It was a great battle that you were having with Carlos. Obviously, you had Graham go out ahead of you guys, but what's it like running there up at the front in these things in a track that's not easy to pass on?
That was definitely the big point, was not easy to pass on. I felt I had some pretty good race pace, and that certainly didn't show in qualifying. First time I ever drove a qualifying setup was in qualifying, and so it was definitely a bit slower than I thought I should have placed. So I knew it'd be difficult to overtake, but some of the guys were being pretty generous and coming up on the oval and letting it draft past or lifting a little bit. There's a lot of courtesy there throughout the field of knowing when someone's a little bit quicker behind, and yeah, just kept trying to push through and turn out some lap times, and was able to catch the guys up in front. I think they started battling a little bit, and that helped pull me in. But yeah, it was extremely difficult to try and make a pass. It was a couple laps there following Carlos, looking into the chicane on the backstretch, trying to find a spot on the infield, but it's just so hard without completely sending up the inside, and I was just trying to keep it clean and ended up making it pass, but going airborne there, we ended up making a little bit of contact on the landing, and so sorry to Carlos for giving him a little bit of front wing damage, but that's just I think the nature of the track. It's super tough.
I was just gonna say, if you have to use the curbing like that to go fast, you're gonna have those kind of incidents. So all in all, not a bad night, bringing the car home in third in a pretty big strength of field night. So congratulations on that, and let's get your sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, Downforce Racing, providing awesome setups every week. I'd like to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. It was a lot of fun going back and watching it last week, so I look forward to doing that here in a couple minutes. So hopefully see you guys around soon.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much, and we'll wrap up our Victory Lane interviews here with your race winner. John, you were best in class by a wide margin. I have to ask about the start. Was there some team coordination there? Because everything seemed very, very polite coming to the green flag there.
No, I don't think so. I think Graham and I always race pretty hard against each other, even though we're teammates. So, no team orders there. Just, I had a little bit more practice than he did, and so, I was able to kind of keep my front wing clean, and then unfortunately, he kind of bumped the wall, and I was able to kind of just manage my pace and pull away.
That was managing pace is one thing. You were setting quick lap after quick lap there for quite a while. What's it like running out front like that, where you were almost in a hot lap session for 24 laps?
Yeah, it's tough because part of me wanted to push and go faster, and the other part was just, afraid of the chicane going into 3 and 4. So, yeah, it was mainly just trying to protect the front wing. So I took it really easy through the chicane just to try and do that and not get any damage. Unfortunately, this track just kind of eats up that front wing, so can't go full push.
The last question I have for you here. The last lap, you caught up to Kylo and Tom that were battling for position. Did you back off at all in that last lap just to kind of let them get across the line before they possibly had an incident together in front of you?
Yeah, part of it was just, I know they're battling it out, so I wanted to give them the space. I don't think I could have gotten there even if I had, did a normal lap. So I just kind of gave them some space and try and, let them have some fun battling it out for that last position there.
You know what? It was a ton of fun to watch. We didn't get to show the car a ton because we did have a lot of good racing throughout the field. But the important one, you got the Victory Lane interview with the slow-mos here. So let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous for the names on that race car.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to Carlos for putting the livery together. I think it looks really good. Big shout out to Wave Italy, GSI, Omologato, and then all the guys at Geodesic. Always have a good time battling with them. So thanks to them as well.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the win. Hopefully we're talking to you again here soon. And I'll tell you what here, James. John was underselling himself a little bit there, I think.
Yeah. Just kind of casually acting like he didn't just absolutely bludgeon the field for 24 laps.
That's the polite way of putting it. A 14-second win over David Porcelli and over 35 seconds on the third-place finisher tonight, Ted Burns. We got everything we could have wanted and more out of this race here at the Roval.
Yeah, this was a fun race. Like, it wasn't stupid, but it wasn't boring. Like, this is exactly what we want to see as broadcasters, is races like this where, we aren't seeing cars get completely demolished, but there's still a lot of action and times where your jaw is just at the floor on what you're witnessing.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, and we're looking forward to more of it coming up next week when we head off for 50 laps at Gateway. I almost think you're going to want to drive that race if my gut is telling me the right things.
I may make a couple appearances next week, but I'll definitely be running just in the booth for our broadcast next week.
All right, buddy. Hey, that sounds good. And looking forward to talking to you here on, let me see, Tuesday night for the TNT Series, next Thursday for the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series. Thank you very much for hanging out with us in the booth here. And with that, it is time to go home, head to the showers, call it a night. We're getting out of here, people. For James Watson, Connor Baldwin, our camera designer extraordinaire, who did a fantastic job on the cameras here at the Roval. My name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you here again on a Thursday night. We will talk to you all on Monday with the Silver Crowns. Until then, have a good night, everybody.